Welcome to Flosstube number 21, and I am a little bit sad because I had taped this whole Flosstube and I had edited the whole Flosstube, and I was about to download it from ClipChamp, which is a system I'm using, and it crashed and it's gone. I don't know where it is, so I'm doing it again. And luckily I love talking about my stitching, so it's okay. And when I was doing my PhD mainly, my supervisors would always say if I had to restart something, which happens a lot in PhDing, where you have to basically do it better. And they always would say, if you start again fresh, it'll be better. So this is going to be a great Flosstube. Anyway, I'm sat here with all my stuff. I've only had 2 weeks since the last video, but I've done a lot. Because I've still had my annual leave, and coming Monday I'm back at work, so this is a nice way to finish my annual leave. I have fully finished whips, a lot of new starts, and I will explain why. I will do some giveaways because it is almost my birthday and I thought it was a nice way to celebrate that. And then I have some haul from a cross-stitch shop. And then I also have, I've done some great finding in a second-hand shop. So I found a proper treasure, I think. So if you're interested in that, that will be at the very end of this video. And that's all of it. So here I go again. Oh, in the intro, my dad is a photographer and he puts his videos on the internet. I will ask him for the link. And I thought, why don't I make a nice new intro with his pictures? So that's what I've done. Thank you very much, Dad, for the pictures. And I like my new intro. I think it fits my name as a Dutch stitcher to have Dutch pictures at the beginning of my video. Right. Let's start with the fully finished. So this is my first fully finished, and this is a pattern that I started only last time. So last time I had I think half of this stitched, and I loved the colors of this piece, and so now I have it fully finished. Now this is only temporary fully finished. It is in this frame by Action, which is a shop in the Netherlands that sells cheap frames, but still very nice frames. This is a box frame, so the glass is way in front of the piece. So you could put beading on it if you wanted, and that would be perfectly frameable in this frame. But I can take it out and do something else with it because I have considered making this into a pillow with some nice blue fabric. And I've looked for blue fabric, but I couldn't find it exactly in the color that I want it in. So for now, this is in a frame, but I do like it. It's a lovely little pattern by, I think, HMP Studio on Etsy. And I'm sorry about the glare. There's not much I can do about that. I frame with the glass, so I think this is okay. So yeah, HMP Studio has a lot of lovely little patterns that are very nice to stitch. And this is not a big pattern at all. It goes quite quickly. But I had when I started it, I kept going. And then when I went to Belgium to visit that cross-stitch shop, I took this one with me and I flew through it. Basically, I was stitching this at the hotel in the evenings, and yeah, this was a quick and lovely little stitch. I stitched this on, I think, 18 count, some sort of beige. Or was this, yeah. Oh no, this is the linen. This is the 18 count linen look that I got in Friesland. So there you are. that's my first finish and I'm happy with it. I put it at my desk where I've basically built a prayer nook. I like to write my prayers, so I have little pillows there and little cards that I put up, and this fits perfectly there. And my second fully finish is not a fully finish because the thing is not finished, but the half of the cross stitch is finished. It's from my sewing box, and my sewing box this is my sewing box. So I found it at a brocante. For those of you who don't know yet, I found this at a brocante, and I decided to basically redo it, upgrade it, whatever you want to call it. So I put some beeswax on the wood, so that's all nice and pretty again. And then at the top there were two fabric squares, and I decided to take that out and put some stitching in. So half of that is finished. And I have used the Rose Band Sampler, and I will put that on the screen for you. And my idea was to stitch the roses. So the rose part is done. And the idea was also to then use one of the is it a band? Is it a border on the other side of the pattern? But I found that I didn't have enough space. So I decided to just make some little corner. I'd found one somewhere. I don't even know where. It's just a little one. And added that. So this is half of it finished, and it's attached with magnets. So there are 4 magnets, one in each corner. So I could take it out and then stitch other things and switch it out if I wanted to. The other part still needs doing, obviously. This is the first bit. This is stitched on 20 count linen look, Ada. And for the second one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Some of you have suggested to mirror this image and stitch a mirrored image of this. I could just stitch the exact same thing, and I can also, because I couldn't use one of the borders to put around this one, I might want to just stitch the borders and put the borders on the other side of this sewing box, because I love the pattern as a whole. So I have not yet decided, so we'll see. I've put it aside for now so I can think about it for a little bit, but this is a lovely, lovely finish. And it's 20 count stitched with 1 strand of DMC and the darkest green is a gentle art. Isn't that lovely? I think that is lovely. Very, very pretty. So that's the first half of my sewing box sorted. And I'm already using the sewing box, so it's just I'm sorry, I have to get out of screen a little bit. So it just needs finishing, that one side, but I do use the box already. And I've seen other boxes for the past weeks when I've been visiting brocantes or secondhand shops or antique shops, but they were quite big. They had 3 layers and they had much bigger squares basically, and they were not as pretty. So I'm quite happy with my buy. And my mum said she would like one as well. So if I find a similar one, I will make one for her as well. But as long as I don't, and the big ones are not, I think they're slightly too big. They would be nice if you would actually do sewing rather than stitching, because they can hold a lot more. They could hold fabric if you wanted. Those are my fully finishes. Now I have also my mum finished a piece. She finished a pillow, and she decided to make quite a big pillow but have stitching on either side. So she stitched 2 pieces and then had it professionally sewn together, because she is not a sewer and she doesn't enjoy that. So she asked someone else to do that. but she did the stitching, and I'm going to put pictures up here for you to see. So the first side of that pillow are Civil War Blocks #2 by Linda Myers, and it has the rainbow gradient, which I think is lovely. I've stitched something by Vivsters in a rainbow gradient. I'm currently stitching one of hers in a rainbow gradient, and this has a similar gradient, and I think this is a lovely piece. So that's one side of the pillow. It's stitched on 14 count Ada, and she never stitches on white, but I'm not sure whether it's ecru or ivory. It's one or the other. Then the other side of the pillow is a Floral Sampler by DMCrossStitch, and I've got it written down here. So if you're thinking, why is she looking down? It's because I have it written down. It's by DMCrossStitch on Etsy. Now this is a monochromatic piece. So what we did when we were in Terschelling is that we looked for colors and a color scheme, and then my mum's put it together into this lovely, pretty pillow. And I love this this pattern. I think it's very pretty. It's also stitched on 14 count Ada. Again, the exact same one as she used for the other one, but I don't know exactly which one that is. And now she has a pillow that she can turn around. And I think that's actually quite smart. I thought it might be nice to make 2 pillows with different pieces from different seasons. So you can turn it around whichever season you're in. Wouldn't that be lovely? Anyway, so that's my mum's finish, and I think it's very pretty. I do have a regular finish as well. This is by CouleurdEtoile, and it is called Holiday in French, I think. And this I finished. And I've made several changes to this pattern, mostly related to color. And last time when I showed you, I had this stitched in dark gray, and I changed that back to white, which as it is charted. And I think that I like that better rather than the dark gray. I've had struggles with this piece, but now that it's finished, I do like it. I think it's very pretty. I really like the kite that isn't cross stitch, sort of lays on top of it and makes it, I don't know, whimsical. And yeah, I do like it. I think the color changes I've done to it make it more of a whole piece. And one of you said, why don't you make a blue swing on the tree? And I thought that was a fantastic idea, and I immediately got it out. And because I'd already finished it, and I immediately got it out and thought, how am I going to do that? And I haven't figured out how to do it. It would be lovely to have a nice pop of blue here, but I can't figure out where to put it. So for now, I haven't done that, but I thought the idea was absolutely lovely. And I think it would be good for this pattern to have that. So I'll think about that for a little longer, but I am calling it finished. Try to show you close up. There you go. You can see me peering around it, so I can see if I'm actually showing you in the camera. Yeah, it's a lovely little piece. Lovely little piece. And as I said, it reminds me of Terschelling, where we saw a lot of people horse riding, where my mum and I cycled a lot, where we had a lighthouse. We've seen a lighthouse there. Very different lighthouse, but still. We've seen a lot of boats on the water. So yeah, perfect. So that was my finish. I think I will make this into a bag one day, but I don't know when exactly, because like I said, I'm going back to work, so I don't have a lot of time to do many things. Right. that's the finish, fully finish, whatnot. Then we move into a lot of new starts. When I say a lot of, I mean a lot of. And the reason why I did that is because I have looked through my WIP pile and I decided that there were certain things I wanted to discontinue. And then I had room for new ones, obviously. And also because I am very much a process stitcher. So for me, the joy of stitching is in having it in progress, doing a little bit, enjoying the fact that I've done a little bit, seeing it grow. So having it in stash doesn't necessarily bring me a lot of joy. Having it finished is nice, but is not the thing that gives me the most joy. It is the fact that I'm stitching it, that I'm working on it. So I thought I don't mind having a few more WIPs if that's what it turns out to be. Most of them are a bit smaller because I do like doing a few small pieces. And the ones I have are all quite long and big, and they take a lot of time. So I've decided to start a few new ones, and I've had great fun doing that. I have still a few lined up that I might start at some point this weekend. And then when I'm back at work, I find that starting a piece takes energy that I don't necessarily want to give to it. So I prefer to just stitch. So that's the new starts. Let's talk very, very briefly about the pieces that I decided to discontinue. So the first one I'm going to show you is a piece that I am going to offer as an adoption. I've seen some of the people do that. I think it was Country Stitches, Liz and Deb. I think we all watched them. I love both of them. I think they are fantastic people and great stitchers. I think the first time I saw Deb suggest that someone would take over one of her pieces and have it as an adoption, and I thought that was a great idea because this is a beautiful piece and it should be stitched, but I don't want to do it. And the reason I don't want to do it is because this is stitched on even weave. I don't like even weave. But this is the piece, and you stitch this bit. The bit around it is printed on the even weave. So if I would swap it to an Ada, let's say, I wouldn't have that print around it. And I think that is what brings this piece alive. It's what makes it special, is to have that little addition to it. So I have decided that this piece, River Village by Leonard, is going to be offered to you as an adoption. You don't have to, don't feel pressured. But if one of you is looking at this thinking, oh, I would love to stitch that piece, then let me know. I have started it, and I have done the water. So I've done the most boring bit, basically. Here we are. That's the bit I've done. This is all stitched with one strand over two threads. I haven't done the back stitching on the bird here, but other than that, the bottom rows are finished. I will show you my back as well. I think, especially because I was stitching with one strand, it's quite easy to keep it neat. So if you are interested and think, I love that piece, I would love to stitch it, you are welcome to leave the word village in the comments, and then I will draw, as we do, a name. If there's more than one, I will draw a name, and you can win this as an adoption, and then finish it and put it in your house. Yeah, and again, I think this is a very, very pretty piece. And if it was on Ada, I would love to stitch it, but it is not. So I would love to know that this is going to a good home and someone is going to enjoy it. Right, let's pop that over there. Other pieces I've discontinued very quickly are Historical Stickmuster, Spring, Colors. Again, not because I don't love the pattern, because I do, but I started it as suggested on a white fabric. And I don't think it fits with the rather beige that they have a lot of it. All the swirls at the top are in beige. And I think this would look a lot better if it was on ivory or on maybe on ecru even. So I've decided to discontinue it as it is at the moment, but I have put the pattern back in my stash and I hope to restart it at some point. Then I had started something with two birds on a branch, very similar to the piece by JBW, Eliza's Birds, but then in a different color scheme from a different old sampler. But the color scheme looked great in the book, but it didn't when I was stitching on it. I struggled with it. So I decided to also discontinue that one. I still like the pattern, but the colors that in my version were not coming out right. So I've discontinued that. Then the mix and match piece. I started this piece to celebrate my 1 year Flosstube moment. And I started it thinking, I'm going to try this. I'm really going to try this. But I learned that I was getting stressed from it rather than enjoy it, because I like order and structure. I like a specific color scheme, not too many colors. So I was really struggling with that concept. And even though I love it, I think it's a great idea. I think it's innovative, but I can't stitch it. And Joanita from Stitchy Things contacted me about this pattern. She had a question. And I just decided to discontinue it, so I decided to just give it to her. So she received that pattern from me. And Joanita, if you're watching, I hope you are enjoying it, or will enjoy it in the future. So those I've all discontinued, and so that leaves a bit more room for other pieces. And I think we can go straight into it, can't we? Yeah. I'll start with a piece. I decided to do more art minis because NikkiPattern, who is my main supplier of art minis, had a few new ones out. So I liked them, so I decided to stitch those. Now, I recently, over the past few weeks, definitely months, I've got quite a few new subscribers. So thank you very much for those of you who have subscribed to my channel. I'm almost at 2,000. So if you're not yet subscribed, but do like my videos, I would appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel and I can hit the 2,000. Yeah, that would be nice. I would enjoy that. And some of you might never have seen my art minis because it's been a while since I've been working on them. So I thought I'll just show all of them to you very quickly so you get an idea of what this is. This is basically where they put famous paintings into a small cross stitch. And what NikkiPattern does on Etsy is making it into 50 by 60. So this is one of the pieces I have stitched. Sorry about the glare. I think this is okay. I put it in a frame that I found at Action again, but they don't sell this anymore. I bought a lot in advance, so I have a drawer left of these pieces. This was the first one I made, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Not my first color scheme to choose, but I think it's very pretty. I love having this one out, actually. Yeah, and having it on my shelf. Very pretty. Let's see where I'm going to put this. The second one I made was more modern art, this butterfly, which again is very pretty. And all of these are famous art pieces. I just haven't written down which ones they are. But if you go to NikkiPattern on Etsy, you can click on a sub menu that is art minis, and they will all come down and you will see all of these there. Yeah, I like this one. Again, not a color scheme that I would easily choose myself, but seeing it all together, I do enjoy it. The next one I made was by, I think, CrossStitch Lovers, and it's slightly smaller. It is, I think, 60 by 40, and I liked this version of it. Everyone who brings out these art minis has a version of this piece by Michelangelo, and usually they have just a blow up of the hands in the middle here. And I liked the fact that this was showing a bit more of the piece, and still has incredible detail. And again, this is 40 by 60 stitches. So I think that is just amazing to be able to do that. And I really like this piece. It was a lot of beige stitching, not my favorite color, but it has turned out really nice. I think it's very pretty. The next one I made was this one. A bit more flowers. I wasn't sure about this color palette at all, I'll tell you. But now seeing it together, I think it's nice. When I was stitching it, I wasn't sure about the blue suddenly in this whole scheme. Yeah, seeing it together again is nice, makes it look like a painting. Very pretty. And they are fun to stitch. They're not difficult. They do have a bit of confetti sometimes. But they are very, very pleasurable to stitch. Then I made this one, which is Van Gogh, Van Gogh, really. But since I'm speaking English, I'll say Van Gogh. And this was an easy one to stitch because it has clear lines, doesn't it, and blocks, and so it was easy to stitch. But it has nice colors, so I enjoyed this one. I stitched most of this when I was in Isle of Wight, when I was sick. Yeah, this came out of it, so that's good. And then this was the last one I made, which is, I don't know what it's called. I was going to say Lady Sniffing a Rose, but that's not, I'm sure that's not how they call it. And if they did, they should revise it. But it is pretty. It is pretty. Look at that. So much detail when I have it on a shelf, and then when I look at it from across the room, it just looks very detailed. It's very pretty. So that's the last one. So I already have 6. So now I've decided to add 2 more. So the first one I bought was a Monet, just blue, blue water, blue sky, some sailboats. I'll put a picture on the screen. Very pretty, I think. But I didn't start with that one. I started with this one. And this is also by Monet. And I have made a start. And as you can see, it doesn't look like much yet. And that's also the reason why I showed you all the other ones. These things only come together when you put in the last stitches. So up until that point, you think, really? Is this happening? Is this going to be pretty? But you just have to keep going. Trust the process. It will come good. So I'm trusting this process. I like the colors. It's very purplish. And as always, it's an enjoyable stitch. I've done quite a lot of it on it already because it is such fun. And I stitch all of these on a 16 count Ada white, just very basic fabric. So that's my start on this one. Now this is also a good moment to share with you my first giveaway, because I bought quite a lot of these, and there's several that I probably won't stitch because they don't necessarily fit into this. Same with this one. I have stitched it and I like it, but it doesn't necessarily fit in with the ones I have. So I usually put this one at the back so you can't really see it. So the one that I'm going to give away is not because I don't like it, but because it doesn't really fit in with the scheme I'm going with. So this is the wave. I think it's called something else, but I'm going to call it the wave. It's a famous painting, and again, it's very well put together into a cross stitch piece. And if you are interested in receiving this, winning this, then just put the word wave in your comment. And you can make a sentence with it. I like it when people do that, but you don't have to. So we've now had 2 words. So if you want to adopt this piece, you put in the word village. If you want to win the wave piece, then you put in the word wave. Okay, let's move on to sip of tea, where I can show you my cup at the same time, because I haven't done that yet. I did it in the first video, but not in this one. So apologies if I seem a bit muddled. It's just because I've already filmed this all once, and at some point it all sort of glues together in your head. Isn't that a pretty cup? It's a summer version of a Royal Albert. And I bought it recently, I think, at a large brocante in Zeist, at the castle, in the castle gardens. Beautiful setting for something like this. And this is so pretty. Gold is still beautifully intact. I mean, that's what gives these pieces such charm, really. Right, sip of tea. And then we crack on. This one is also from a series by NikkiPattern, and I made one for my sister, a landscape piece. And I gave it to her, and I'm happy for her to have it, but I did like that piece. And I decided I should have one as well. So I'm stitching the pink versions for me. And I have made a start on it with black and green and the pinks. And this is again also a quick stitch. NikkiPattern has great pieces. They're nice to stitch and have a great result. So this goes quite quickly. It's pleasurable. It fits in Pattern Keeper, and you don't have to put in your own colors. All of that is automatic, so it's really fantastic. This is on 16 count Ada and will fit into a hoop, and I will make this into a hoop finish. Yeah, very happy with this. Very happy. Nice start. It's one of those pieces that I wanted to start for a long time, but then because I just want to stitch when I'm working, I hadn't. But now I do, and I can just work away at it. My next start is a pillow from Spring Basket. So last time I finished one from the Winter Basket, I now started one from the Spring Basket, and I am stitching it on 18 count grey, I think pewter grey Ada. And I enjoy these little pillows. They are not as easy to stitch as I thought they would be, because it's a lot of color changes. And I give myself the additional difficulty of not wanting to pull my threads where you might be able to see them. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that to myself, but I do. And that means that sometimes you have to get a new thread, generally quickly again. But this is cute. And I do look forward to sewing these pieces together. It might be a Christmas holiday thing to put some of these together, because these pillows are slightly more difficult to sew, I think. And I might need some proper focus to do that right. So yeah, the finishing of, I think I'll just stitch a few of these pillows and then put them all together at the same time. My next start is a piece that I wanted to start quite a while ago, when I showed it to you in Flosstube and said, oh, I'm going to start this one really quickly. And then I didn't. And there are two reasons for that. It's Japanese Garden, I think by CrossStitch Lovers, not entirely sure. Look in my description box, it's all there. The main reasons I didn't start it is because it is quite confetti heavy. So it does take energy to stitch this and focus. But I have started it now. And like I said, already with plenty confetti. It doesn't look like it, but all the green there, I think that's easily 7 or 8 greens that make up that little piece. And this is obviously the little bench at the front of the pattern. I do like it. I love the colors. Love these pastel colors. Oh, what's happening to my screen? It's not focusing. There we are. We are focusing again. So yeah, I'm happy I started this. It won't be a quick piece. It's only 70 by 70, so it's not big at all. But it will take some time stitching this. But I'm glad I started it, because for so long I've been sort of wanting to start it, but not looking forward to so much confetti. But now that I've started it, it's easier to just pick it up and do a bit of stitching on it. And this is also stitched on 16. Is it 16 or 18? It is an 18 count Ada. I might regret that when the confetti is heavy, but it is what it is. I think I started it on 18 count because then it fits perfectly into a 10 by 10 frame, and I already have the frame in that lovely green color, so I think that's why it became 18. My next start is the gnomes. I have finished the Olympic gnomes, loved stitching the Olympic gnomes, so I decided to immediately get the Christmas one going. This will not be a piece that I will stitch on a lot in the coming weeks. I might leave this more for November, December, but I have started it, and the tree is up. Isn't that cute? I think it's so cute. And you could just stitch this tree and use it as an ornament for Christmas. I mean, it's such a versatile pattern if you want it to be. I stitched it on the exact same 18 count Ada beige, and I have swapped a few colors again, just so I get a very similar color scheme as my previous one, where I swapped a few colors, usually because the colors I picked are a bit brighter and a bit more towards the basic colors, so bright red and brighter blue, bright yellow. Yeah. So that one is started, but won't be a focus in coming weeks. Then this one, I went to the Garenhuis in Belgium, and I have a bit more haul to show you later on. But this is the haul I will show you now because I've started it. And this is a pattern I've looked at a million times on Etsy, a million times, because I love it. And I love the series. because this is by Crocette a gogo, and let's see how I'm going to show you this. It is the autumn piece, so there's also spring, there's also summer, winter, Noel. They have Halloween, I think. Recently a 4th of July piece came out, but I started with autumn because I love the colors of autumn. And this is my start. So it has lovely burnt orange, a soft red, greens, yellows, there's purples as well, not on here yet, but they will come in later. And I think this is lovely, just lovely. I'm stitching this on 20 count, 1 strand of floss, mainly because this is a massive piece, because even with 20 count, I have a massive piece of fabric completely rolled up at the side. And also because I like stitching 20 count with 1 strand of floss. I think that's a lovely way of stitching, and the coverage is beautiful. It's just DMC, so there's nothing fancy about it. But yeah, lovely. Lovely piece, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's very cute. It's a cute piece. So yeah, I've started the autumn and might very well in the future stitch others of that series as well. So that's my new starts. Now I might start some other things over the coming weekend. Tomorrow's Friday, I might start a few tomorrow. I have looked at my other tablecloth because I have another tablecloth. My Christmas one is finished, so I might want to start this one. It's very summery. I have started another one. I will put a picture up on the screen because I've only started a little bit last night. It is the Bothy Threads with the mushrooms, and lovely pattern. So I will start. I have started it, and will probably stitch during autumn on that piece because it's an autumny piece, isn't it? It is in my book anyway. So that's very, very cute, and I've also started that one. So yeah, I like starting things at the moment. I think it's nice to have a good width pile that I can choose from, and have a lot of pieces that sort of are on the go, and I can enjoy the progress that I make on different pieces. Additional to that, quite a lot of pieces that I started a while ago are now all sort of moving into the past halfway point towards the finish. And I would like to have more, because I do a Flosstube, you sort of have to manage a little bit what you're showing people. It'll be nice to have some just started and some nearing halfway and some, so it'd be nice to have some different gradations in that. Moving on to my whips, and I have 4 whips to show you. So in the past 2 weeks I have worked on some of my regular pieces, and then after we've shown that I will go into a bit of the shopping I've done. So this is Wildflowers by Lennart, and the artist is Marjolein Bastet. And this is a very bright yellowy piece, and I really like it. And I have been stitching on this. So this is coming along really. So I just have the top of the border to do. I'd already done that. And this time I'd stitched all around here. So added a few more flowers and that leaf. I love this piece. It's only, is it 18? Yeah, this is 18 count. And the border is 1 strand. The bouquet is 2 strands of floss. Isn't that pretty? The colors are lovely too. And kits of Lennart are also always with DMC, so it's nice to work with. Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with this. I find that when I pull out this piece, I stitch on it a lot. And then when it's in my stash or in my, I put all my whips in a blanket. When it's in the blanket, I don't necessarily want to stitch it. But once I do, I keep going and keep going. Yeah, very pretty piece. Then I have Magic Needle, and this one is definitely nearing a finish. So I think next time, maybe 2 more times and it'll be finished. So this is Roses for a Needlewoman, and this has several roses on there that I have now finished. So the pink rose, which is slightly brighter in real life than you can see, is now finished too. So I just have the rose buds to do. One slightly big one here and then a few small ones over there. And then it's done. And this is stitched on 16 count wide Aida. And this is a substitute for the one that came into the kit. But I do use the kit flosses. Mind you, there's one color I think I might not have enough of. So I have looked for a similar DMC one and I might use that one, should the other one run out. But isn't that pretty? Yeah, I love this stitch. I love Magic Needle anyway, but this stitch is just gorgeous. I think I'll leave the back stitching. There's a bit of back stitching in these roses and I just don't see why I should do that. It doesn't need it. Very pretty. I hope you can see something. So yes, this one is definitely nearing a finish. It might be a nice finish for a hoop, big hoop. And this is a series as well because they have other hoops. And I might want to stitch another one, although I like the other ones less as I do this one. So I'm just gonna hydrate again. My next whip is my landmarks. And I stitched Christ the Redeemer. And that is a statue, and I kept saying Mexico last time. It's not Mexico, it's Brazil. So apologies to Brazil. And this is where I am at the moment. So I've done 20 of these little landmarks. The next one I'll do above Mecca. So I'll start again there. And the next one will be White Cliffs of Dover. And it's so pretty. Sometimes the sky can be a bit boring, but the outcome is so nice that I'm happy to get through that. On this one I love the way the mountains are sort of in the different colors of blue. So you get the gradient. And then the head of the statue is slightly difficult to see, but that's okay. Such a lovely piece. And the colors are nice. It's just, I love this piece. And I look forward to stitching the next row. It's always nice to start a new row. And the Eiffel Tower is still one of my favorites. It's very, very pretty. We've seen the Eiffel Tower a lot lately, haven't we? With all the Olympics. So yes, happy with the progress on this one. It does take a while to stitch these, but that's okay. It's not 4,000 stitches as I said last time. Apologies. It's only 1,700 something. But the warmth was, it was so warm that day. I was just making stuff up. My last progress is Moon Deer. And I haven't stitched on Moon Deer for quite a while. And that's because I was away a lot. And when I stitch on this one, I don't do it when I'm away because the piece is too big. But also I want to take my time on this piece because I love it. It is stitched on 20 count Ivory Ada. And this is where I am at the moment. So I have stitched the top of the antlers, all of this here. And I've added this on the border and these two things. So this is also moving along nicely. Now, the antlers are beautiful. And this motif needs to be stitched over here. And then that border, part of the border is done as well. There's not much green at the moment. The green will be coming in just above the antlers. It will be a few birds up there. But I decided to just stitch the antlers first and then move on to the next section, which are the birds. I stitch it with one strand of Weeks Dye Works, and the Weeks Dye Works is a conversion I made with the aim to be relatively similar to the actual charted colours. And I use Driftwood, Whiskey, Majestic Purple, and Frog something. Not sure, Frog something. The antlers are beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, I can't wait to continue on this one. And this one will be framed, and I probably will frame this at het Garenhuis in Belgium. Because I went to the pop-up shop in Knokke, which is somewhere else, they didn't bring any of their framing there. But we just got chatting because I was the only customer for quite a while. And she said there was a lady from Luxembourg. So if you're watching, lady from Luxembourg, let me know what the framing is like, because she said you always go and visit them specifically for the framing. Yeah, it must be fine. And so I think when this is finished, I will go there and have this framed professionally by them. But I'm not nearly there because this still needs stitching. So yeah, I'll enjoy it for a little while longer. Oops, sorry. So that's all my stitching process. And I now move into my shopping. And I have two stashes in front of me. One is from the new shop, Garenhuis, where I just talked about. And one is from a secondhand shop. Now, the secondhand shop, I found treasure. And I'm going to show you the treasure right now. Where is it? I'm losing my treasure. Because this piece is, I was surprised to have found this. I went to the secondhand shop. We'll just start with the secondhand shop. And it was a very small shop. And my friend and I went cycling in Zeeland and just sort of got past it. And we said, oh, why don't we go in there? And so we did. And I found a full box of cross-stitch stuff. And it was very clear that was from someone who had to let go of her stitching just like that. Because there were kits in there, fully kitted up, unopened, and a lot of patterns. And I bought quite a few patterns, which I will go through with you now. So my first patterns is a series. So this one I found by Marjolein Master. So the same artist as for my wildflowers. And this is summer. I have also found winter. So this is winter. And I also found spring. And I think autumn was also there, but that one had quite a high price on it. And these were all for €1. So I don't know why autumn was suddenly expensive. And this is spring. So I've left autumn for now. And stitching these up will take forever anyway. And I'm not sure whether I think the wintry is only wintry. I think this could also be autumn if you want it. So yeah. So we've got all of these as a series. And the patterns are in very good nick. So she's been really, careful with her patterns. And these are old patterns because the new Lennart kits and any kits usually don't have DMC numbers. But these have the DMC numbers, so I can just buy my own and stitch it up. So I'm very happy with these. So spring, winter, and summer. And this one I might start this weekend. So that was my first find. I was very happy about that. My second find was linen. I don't stitch on linen, so this is not for me. This will be a giveaway in the upcoming videos somewhere. And it's a Zweigart Belfast linen, misty blue, 32 count, 50 by 45 centimeters from the Stitch Company. Completely sealed, has not been used in any way. So I thought one of you will like that. So that will be a giveaway at some point. Oh, just a little fly there. Then I found from Lennart this beautiful pattern. Now I love this one. Gorgeous. And again, it's just a pattern. It's not a full kit. So I have to find my own flosses. But I can show you in the back. It shows you exactly which colors are needed and which color is fitting with which symbol. So I can just kit it out myself now. And I think this is so pretty. These are quite big. These are the bigger Lennart kits. And this pattern was €1. So it's just, finding something like this is such fun. €1. This one was also €1. This might be the biggest one. And apparently my grandmother stitched this as well, my mum said. But yeah, this is very pretty too, isn't it? Very autumny. Very autumny. And is this a Marjolein? Yeah, this is also a Marjolein Buster. So this is the same artist again as the one from my wildflowers. So I probably will stitch this one as well, although I think my first choice will be this one, because I think this is beautiful. Then I found a fancy lady. Now I don't necessarily stitch fancy ladies, but I thought one of you might like this. So this is a giveaway, and it is a very pretty fancy lady. It's from Black Swan. I'd never heard of it. But that doesn't matter, I think. I don't want to take it out because it's still completely sealed. So there is a bit of glare. It's from Black Swan. It is Sweetheart's Rose. And I love how her dress is like a rose as well. I think that's a lovely little thing. And you could stitch it without the wings if you don't want the wings. I think it's beautiful. The color is very nice. It uses DMC colors, African American colors. I don't know what kind of, I've never seen that in the Netherlands. Mill Hill Petite Beads, Bothy Threads. So it is it's from 1995. So it is a delicate pattern. But as I said, it's completely still sealed and as good as new. And I'm giving it away. So if you want this, you can put Swan in the comment. And then I will pull a name and all of that will be at random. And you can win this. So if you would like this, please do. So we've now had 3 words that you can put in your comment. You are welcome to put all 3 words in there if that's what you want to do. But do you can only win one. So, yeah, I'd like to have 3 different winners for the 3 different giveaway adoptions, whatever it is. So this is one of them. And then the one I found, that is real treasure, and I didn't know it because this is a Mirabilia, and I've never stitched a Mirabilia. I haven't really seen a Mirabilia that I would well, that's not true. I was watching Stitching Mummy, and she has beautiful pieces. But I think a video from a couple of years ago, she stitched the Christmas Mirabilia, the lady with the red dress. Oh, and that one is so beautiful. I kept rewinding that video, thinking, oh, I really want to stitch that one. So if I'm going to stitch a Mirabilia, it'd probably be that one. But this one is cute, and so I bought it only for £2. And this is Touching the Autumn Sky. And the thing is, I went home thinking I did good because this is £2 for a pattern that's normally 18, 20. And I looked it up, and this is a discontinued pattern. And apparently this one has been sold over the past years for over €100 on more than one occasion in different countries. So this is a collector's item, I think. So now I don't know what to do with it. And I think this should go to a collector. So if you know anyone who is a collector who would really like this, please send them my way, because I don't think I will keep a hold on this. I did find a conversion of the dress into a blue version, and I did like that one. But I am not a Mirabilia lover, as some people are. Some people just love these patterns. And somehow I think this needs to go to someone who would love this pattern. So this is not a giveaway. I will sell this one. But if you know someone who would really love this one, who is a collector, please just send them my way. And then they can. Autumn, Touching the Autumn Sky. So that was real treasure. Didn't know it. And then some shopping at het Garenhuis. Only a little bit. I didn't buy that much. I bought one pattern that I thought was very pretty, like a star. And it's by Une Croix Le Temps d'une Thé. I think they have more of these, but then with different flowers. So if I enjoy this, I might stitch the others at some point. Then I have 3 colors, 20 count Ada. Because I love Ada 20 count, like I said, stitching with 1 strand of floss. It saves floss as well. So I thought I'll just ask her to bring several of that to the pop-up shop, because she didn't have everything at the pop-up shop. Just a selection. So I contacted her beforehand and said, I'm looking for 20 count Ada. She brought a stash, and I picked these 4 colors, which I think are very nice. Especially this one. I kept being drawn to that one, and I never stitch on something this dark. But it's so pretty. And having, bright white on this, wouldn't that be lovely? Something lacy. So yeah, I decided to take all these 4. And I left a few others, but these were nice. Then I asked her also to bring along some over-dyed flosses, because I had been stitching with Gentle Art on the one with the rose. Liked that one and thought I might want to get some more. And she was again most happy to take that with. And she took Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Art, and Classic Colorworks. And I bought the Classic Colorworks because I was impressed by their color schemes. And I just bought a random selection of threads that I liked. and that I might put into a pattern at some point. I don't know which pattern yet, but this, I just liked these colors and I thought that, you know, that would be nice somewhere at some point. And these colors are Chesapeake Bay, Just Rust, Amber Waves, Secret Garden, Blueberry Tart, Camouflage, Persimmon, Zac Black. So those colors I have. There is one pattern came out at Nashville. The first one. It's the greatest of these is Love, Faith, Love and Hope, I think. And the Faith one would be the first one. But I like all three. I think they're out now, all three. And they could be perfectly done in these colors. So that is something I am considering. But I haven't bought the pattern. But I do like it. And then I bought 2 packets of little wooden butterflies and flowers that I can add to my pillows if I want to. They're very thin. They're very cute. And this is by the Bee Company. At least one of them is. The other one doesn't have a... I've cut it off. It's by the Bee Company. Yeah. So that was all my purchases. So I've done this Flosstube twice now. So if this is not going to happen, if this one also crashes, there's going to be no Flosstube for another 2 weeks. Because then that's it. That's fate then. I want to thank you very much for watching again. I want to thank you also for following me and leaving comments and supporting and encouraging and giving tips and all of that. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I'm nearly at 2,000 subscribers. I didn't think I would ever get there. It's just a number that I don't understand. My friend recently, I said to her, I'm making those videos, remember? And she said, oh yeah. And explained to her I had almost 2,000 subscribers and she just didn't believe it. So yeah, it's interesting how this works. So if you're not yet subscribed, feel free to do so. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave one of the words if you're interested. So we've got swan and we've got village. No, sorry. Yeah, no, we've got swan and we've got village and we've got wave as giveaways, adoptions. And again, if you find someone who would love this one to add to their collection because they are a collector, please inform them and send them my way. So that's that. I thank you all very much, and I look forward to seeing you again when I'm back at work at some point. It'll be about 3-4 weeks, I think, because going back to work is usually busy. My sister will be coming over one of the weekends because it's my birthday somewhere in the coming weeks. So that will take some time and be fun, and I don't want to be stitching when she's here. We'll go and do something else. So yeah, we'll see. It'll be 3 to 4 weeks, I think. So I wish you all a lovely evening, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you.